What is going on, you guys? It is Livid Fray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today. Today is Friday, vendor reset day. Normally I don't put the reset videos out on Fridays just because I'm usually doing stuff during the weekend, but I'm gonna try and get into a schedule where I just jump right into making these reset videos for you guys on Fridays so I can at least get them out sometime during the weekend instead of like on Monday 3 days later. That's a lot of time that you guys miss out on not knowing the full reset or at least the items that I would recommend. So I'm gonna try and get into that kind of schedule for you guys. There are no blueprints. Just starting off, there's no blueprints that I'm really recommending. There's a couple decent picks, so go check them out if you'd like to, but there's nothing that I'm personally recommending that you have to have. So we're just starting off right here inside the terminal. We do have an LVOA-C for sale here that has Fierce, Talented, and Adept. This works really well for an AlphaBridge build. For ARs, you can just roll Talented off for something else like Deadly or Responsive or Unforgiving, whatever you think. Like I was saying, this works out really well for AlphaBridge, so you can also have an additional weapon on your secondary slot with a different talent to give you even more damage. I think this works out really well for that. Next, we're heading down to the mod section here at the terminal. We have a 262 firearm mod on 1% critical hit chance for a total of 5% across the board on your builds. These are really good. You definitely can't go wrong with firearms critical hit chance. For our next vendor, we're heading over here to the base of operations, to the gear vendor. She's got our first damage to elite mod this week at 187 electronics, 3% damage to elites. Not the best mod, but definitely recommend them if you don't have any at all. They will make a really big difference on your tactician builds. Our next vendor is going to be up at Autumn's Hope. Alright, I've made it to the Autumn's Hope safe house. This vendor is selling a performance mod for us this week at 5% support station healing speed. These are perfect for your reclaimer builds. I've also been kind of throwing these on some of my like regular PvP builds because I'm not always running a booster shot, so I don't always want to run self-heal. In the instances where I'm running a support station, I like to throw these on just as some kind of bonus here. But they are best classified for reclaimer. I've personally been running more ranged mods on my station, but I am running a mix of both on another character, so make sure to grab these if you don't have anything like this just yet. Our next vendor is going to be over at Dante's Run. Alright, I've made it to Dante's Run. This vendor has another performance mod for us this week, 6% Sticky Bomb Explosion Radius. You'll want to use these with the Flashbang Sticky Bomb. You can use them with the BFB if you want to, but it's usually better to go with damage in that case. I think for this, it's just best to use with Flashbangs, and this works out perfectly for really any kind of PvE build that you have where you are utilizing the Flashbang. Really good examples are like D3, or Striker, or Sentry. So make sure you grab these if you don't have any of these just yet. For some reason, these ones are a bit more rare. I don't see these too commonly, so make sure you guys pick those up. Our next vendor is going to be over at Madison Stand. Madison Stand has our other damage to elite mod this week. We actually have two in different types, so we have 184 firearms with 3% damage to elites. There is another firearms damage to elite mod this week, but it's 183, so it's one less. So it would just be a better idea to come by this one. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, this one does have a higher stat. Again, not the greatest mod, but if you don't have any of them, please buy them. They do make a big difference in your PvE builds, so I highly recommend getting them whenever they are for sale. Our next and final Light Zone safe room is going to be the Grindhouse. Believe it or not, over half of my picks this week are actually in the Light Zone safe houses, so that's excellent. Normally, most of everything is inside the Dark Zone, which is pretty heavy on the wallet. So we made it to the Grindhouse. This one is a bit more niche. It's just kind of biased for me because I love this gun. But we do have an AUG for sale here with Unforgiving, Responsive, and Skilled. You can do whatever you want with this. Obviously, it's for the bottom talent, so you could do something like Competent. You could do Vicious or Deadly, whatever you think works best here. Again, it is an AUG, so it's not the greatest SMG in the game. However, it's more of a bias thing for me, and the talents are really good. So if you don't really have a good SMG yet and you're still trying to farm for the house, I would definitely recommend buying this one and using this for now. Our next location is going to be East 61st Street here in the Dark Zone. This vendor has an extended magazine that I would recommend. It has 117 mag size, 4% critical hit damage, and 2.5% critical hit chance. Not maximum rolls here, you will be missing a bullet or two, probably from the magazine size. However, this is still a really good magazine if you're looking for something for your like Predator's Mark builds. Next, we're heading down to East 58th Street. Alright, we've made it to East 58th Street. This vendor has an inventive backpack that I would recommend. It already has skill power and disrupt resistance here. You can just roll off the firearms into electronics, and then you have the perfect backpack for tactician. I personally prefer disrupt over ammo capacity or not using your weapons much anyway. This is a personal preference though. If you would prefer ammo capacity, you could probably just craft one. You could probably just craft one in general because the inventive backpack being for sale in the Dark Zone, this is a lot of money. You're better off just finding something in the open world. But if you're just coming back to the game, if you have a lot of Dark Zone credits, go ahead and splurge on a really good invented backpack. Our next item is going to be located in DZ05 Saferoom, so I'm going to head over there and then I will meet you guys there. Alright, I've made it to the DZ05 Saferoom. This vendor has a hand stop that I would definitely recommend. I think the maxed out reload speed is 31%, so we have 1% off the max here, but it is maxed out stability and critical hit damage, so I would definitely recommend this for your striker builds, more specifically, the determined and commanding method. These are really good attachments to be throwing on your ARs for that build. And our last stop is going to be the DZ04 Saferoom, so let me head down there and then I'll meet you guys there. Alright, we've made it to the DZ04 Saferoom. This vendor does have a 5% ballistic shield damage resilience mod. Again, this one is Dark Zone credits, and we seem to get these fairly often, so I'm just letting you guys know that this is here. If you guys are wanting to get your D3 builds together for the global event that's about to come up on Monday, this is a really good pick to be buying and throwing on your D3 builds. Otherwise, I would personally either craft these or wait around for them to be for sale inside the LZ. There you guys have it. That's everything that's for sale this week. Let me know what you guys are going to be buying, what you're not buying, what your thoughts are. Really curious to know if there's any picks this week that really make a big difference in your builds. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's nothing this week, there is always next week. I'll talk to you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.